Hi, Sierra. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that. So last time we met about 2 weeks ago, and we talked about just kind of briefly about your alcohol usage. Um, and you told me that you often drink, and so I just wanted to make sure. Did you still want this to be the focus of this session today?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of only the reason I'm here, I guess. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, then we can further explore your alcohol usage today. So since it's been 2 weeks since we've met, it's been a little bit of time. I just wanted to be filled in more on your drinking habits. Do you still drink every day?
Yeah, I'm still getting in, 2 or 3 shots, sometimes four, depending on the day, and a tall boy.
Okay. I appreciate your honesty. A lot of clients don't want to be totally honest on how much they're drinking. And so I appreciate you just being, straightforward and honest with me. That'll
Yeah.
go a long way in the process. Um, so since you're sitting here today, there's something that does motivate you. Um, do you know what that thing is?
Well, I'm kind of running out of money and looking at my bank statements. I think it has to do with my drinking, but I don't know. I really like food and I really like coffee and gym clothes. So I mean, I spend my money otherwhere too, but I mean, I think money's kind of in there.
Okay. So basically, if I'm understanding it, money has been something that's on your mind, and you think it could be from your drinking, but you also like buying other stuff, just like all of us. It's hard to not stop when you're in your car for like an iced coffee or something, or
Yeah.
yeah. So that totally makes sense. I can definitely relate to you on that. Um, and so, kind of at the beginning of this session, just to get a better idea of kind of where you're at and where your mindset is at, I kind of wanted to briefly talk about the stages of change and then get your feedback on where you think you are. So, the first stage is pre contemplation. This is where you're not considering any type of change or is unwilling or unable to change. Um, Contemplation is the client acknowledges concerns and is considering the possibility of change, but it is ambivalent and uncertain. The third stage is called preparation. This means the client is committed to and planning to make a change in the near future, but is still considering what to do. Action is the client is actively taking steps to change, but has not yet reached a stable state. And then there's maintenance, which the client has achieved initial goals such as abstinence and is now working to maintain gains. Um, and then the last one is recurrence. So the client has has experienced a recurrence of symptoms and must now cope with the consequences. So based on those, you're probably more in the earlier stages of change. Since you told me that you are still drinking, um, I feel like you could be in the contemplation stage because um, you're acknowledging that maybe your drinking is leading towards financial obstacles, but I can sense a little ambivalence. Would you agree with me on that?
Yeah, I mean, I've been drinking for a while and it's in my routine, so it's gonna be weird to not have that.
Yeah.
It's kind of like I feel like if you had to give up your phone or something, like it's always been there, since
Right.
gosh, before I was 21, which is probably not good, but I have an older sibling, so he always bought me alcohol whenever he would get alcohol, and it's just always been there.
Yeah, and that totally makes sense. Like your environment can influence you to do certain things, and um, a lot of people, when they're trying to or thinking about giving up something, they think of it almost as a loss because for so long, alcohol has been, from my understanding, maybe a comfort thing for you, or, it's just like a leisure activity that you like to participate in. And so that totally makes sense that, you might not be ready to give that up. Um, do you feel like you're open to exploring your options with this situation, or?
I mean, I don't even know exactly what other options I could do right now.
Okay. Yeah, and that's something we can talk about. And, by the end, maybe you'll have an answer on something you would like to do, and which direction you would like to go. But I want to emphasize that you have autonomy in this situation, which means that you have the ability to make your own decisions. And so this is all, like, any decision that's made, it's also your decision. So,
Mhm.
um, so something that I'm noticing is that you have a lot of ambivalence, which means you kind of are wanting to change, but you don't really want to at the same time. Um, and I just want to emphasize that this is very normal. At the early stages, it's extremely normal. And like I said, it can be, kind of a loss when you give up a substance that you're used to using. Um, so I just wanted to ask you, what are your obstacles to change?
Uh, well, I think, like I said, it's just always been there. It's just I get home from work, I chill, I've got my shots, I take a shower, I have some food, I have a beer, have another shot, maybe have another one right before I go to bed. It's always been in my routine. And I think it's always like just weird when people have to switch up their routine when it's been a part of their life for so long.
Right, yeah, and that totally makes sense. You change is often a scary thing for people, and coming out of a routine that you're used to can be really intimidating and scary. Um, so, like, to kind of direct the question a different way, if you were to decide to decrease your drinking, what would be your reasons for that?
Saving money. That would be probably a really good one because yeah, I figure that's 5, $6 every night, and then on the weekends, I don't have any responsibilities Friday night, Saturday night, so if I go out, that's even more money there. I think it would probably be in my best interest health-wise, maybe. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with my health, but I've heard of things that can happen if you continue to drink the way I do, which, I'm young, I work out, I eat pretty good, so maybe it wouldn't, I don't know. I feel like I'm pretty healthy, but I don't know what the insides of my body look like.
Hmm. Yeah, that's a really good point. You made you said really, sorry, I can't talk. Two really good reasons. Money, of course, when you're going out to get drinks, that's extra money out of your paychecks and everything. And then also your point about health reasons. You may not be experiencing the health effects of alcohol right now, but in the future, certain health issues could arise. I'm not saying it will happen. I'm not trying to scare you or anything, but chronic drinking can lead to health issues. So you're absolutely correct in that. So that's just kind of a long term effect that you should keep in mind, which it seems like you are keeping that in mind. So that's good that you have awareness on that. Um, and then I also, I mentioned that, your choice to quit drinking or to even just decrease your amount to where you would drink in moderation. I said that this is all your choice. Like, this is up to you. Um,
Mhm.
but do you feel like, maybe drinking in moderation or quitting altogether is out of your control? Do you feel like this is something that you couldn't do?
I mean, quitting altogether, that just, I don't even think I can picture that. Cutting down, I mean, maybe. It's just like really hard to think about giving up like a part of me almost, even
Mm-hmm.
though probably some people think that's absolutely just asinine to think that you're gonna give up drinking. Like, come on now, like you're giving up drinking.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, yeah, maybe I could cut down a little. Maybe if there's something else I could find to replace it. It's
Mm-hmm.
just, it's been my right hand man.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes total sense. And like this can be a really slow process for you making decisions. Like it seems to me that you're willing to maybe do more of a harm reduction approach and just kind of, drink in moderation more, and, to where you don't have to give it all up, but you only have a few drinks, when you go out with friends. And that's a more healthier approach actually, because just having a few like will do less damage to your liver and other organs in your body. So if you're willing to do that approach, that's something we can definitely look at and work on for sure.
Mhm.
So that kind of answers my next question that I really wanted to address with you today. Just what you would like to do about your drinking behavior. And from what I'm understanding is you just like to cut back a little bit. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think cutting back would get me in the right direction to see how I feel, how I handle it, just to figure out. I mean, logically, there would be more pros than cons, but I would have to see it to believe it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And it may take you actually cutting down to see the pros. Like I said, it's a loss, and maybe just trying something new could give you a new perspective for sure. Um, so I wanted to do just a quick little activity. It won't take more than 2 minutes.
Okay.
If you don't have a pen and paper, that's okay, but you can just think about it in your mind. So this can be related to anything. Just what is something you would like to change?
My spending habits.
Okay. And then my other one is, what is something someone else wants you to change? And before you answer this, who is someone that in your life that is very close to you?
My boyfriend.
Okay. So maybe you could put it in that direction. Like, what is something that maybe your boyfriend wants you to change, or just someone in general, whoever said something to you, if they have or not?
Um, I mean, my drinking, as redundant as it sounds, it's
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I just kind of wanted to see what your social supports were saying about your drinking. And so you say you want to control your money habits. So, and you made this point before, it could be your drinking habits that could be contributing to your spending habits. I know we talked about other things that could be playing into it, just like getting coffee and stuff like that. But, that's just something to reflect on as we're going through this process, that, it could help in the long run your money
Hmm.
situation. And then what does your boyfriend say about it? Like, is there a specific incident that's happened that really caused him to be angry?
Um, there's been a couple times where we've gone out with friends and I've gotten like belligerently drunk to where like, I mean, he's had to carry me like a child and take care of me, and then I completely waste the entire next day. And then if I think about it, I drink at night and then I get my coffee in the morning. I think I probably get the coffee in the morning because to help, not that I'm like hungover, but just to help with the fact that I drank before and then I need the coffee in the morning. It's like back and forth and back and forth. And he's said that several times. And, we're trying to think about our future, moving out and trying to get our own place. And now that I'm saying these things, it's different coming from my own perspective because now I can kind of see a little bit what he's talking about.
Okay, yeah. And, I applaud you for having awareness, and being able to see this situation from another person's perspective. It shows you have a lot of self-awareness, and I think that's a huge strength that you have that will help you along the way, for sure. So say you were to change your behavior and cut back, what would be kind of the worst thing that would happen, and what would be the best thing that would happen?
I think the worst thing is I would miss the feeling I get from drinking, kind of just, makes me relaxed, sleepy. I fall asleep. And then the best thing, I'd probably be saving like 300 to like 350 a month. And that's, whatever that would be times 12. It's a lot of money I could be putting away towards putting a down payment on a house.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Okay, so you feel like you'll miss the feeling of not drinking, but the best thing is, you'll save a lot of money. And yeah, so looking at kind of the present but also the past, how, like, where are you now in relation to where you want to be in the future? Like, describe to me kind of what your ideal future is.
My ideal future, well, let's see, I'm 26, so I would like to, we'll do a typical 5 years from now. I would like to, have my master's, be working where I want to work, have a home with my boyfriend, maybe be married.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'd like to see that, and then be thinking about maybe children. Yeah, I feel like
Okay.
that's pretty,
Yeah.
yeah,
So you're
got
wanting
that.
to potentially, get married and have a family. Um, so how do you think drinking could affect your ability to get married and have a family? How do you think that could how do you think if you continue to drink, how would that work out in your goals?
I don't think it would work out at all.
Okay.
It would, yeah, it would just be not okay. That's why I'm here. My boyfriend was the one who pushed me to go, to see you and come back. He wants to be supportive, so I don't want to lose him. So there's that too. It's
Yeah.
just crazy to talk to someone else about these things instead of it just, being him all the time. Because I do lash out at him and be like, well, you don't understand me. And
Mhm.
so yeah, I guess so it's coming to light now a
Yeah.
little more.
Yeah, and it's hard for people on the other side who don't have the relationship that you have with alcohol. It's hard for them to understand like where you're coming from as well. And so there's a lot of misunderstandings on both sides about the situation. And this is something we can talk about for future sessions, but I find it helpful sometimes with clients to meet with their significant others in a session together. So
Hmm.
if you could think about that after you leave here, and maybe that's something we could talk about just so we can clear up any misunderstandings about you know alcohol usage and everything like that.
Hmm.
um, so one of my most important questions, since we've been talking a lot about everything, do you believe it is important for you to quit drinking, and why?
Well, if I kind of think about everything we've talked about now that I've like actually gotten it out, I think that if I actually want to have the future that, I've always wanted to have, it's very realistic at this point in my life that I really should do something about my drinking. He my boyfriend has told me, not that, ultimatums are a good thing, but he's told me, he goes, if you don't get this figured out, we're not going to have a future.
Hmm.
And I think just talking about it is really just literally opening my eyes to what am I doing? Like,
Right.
why am I letting this hold back everything that I've ever wanted?
Hmm. Yeah. Sometimes it takes just a conversation just to kind of process what's going on and understand it better. Um, but yeah, I mean, this is something that you can overcome if you want to. Um, and I know at the beginning you weren't really sure if you could make this change. I think it was
Hmm.
in the first 5 minutes of our session, you were like, I really don't know if I can. I really don't think so. But after talking, do you believe that you can make a change?
I can. I think I can. Yeah, I can start somewhere small. I think that's my best bet, is starting somewhere small, seeing where it goes, and then, working my way up to maybe only having just a beer,
Hmm.
just figuring it out. Yeah, it's going to take steps.
Yeah, for sure. And, we don't have to just jump in, all right, no drinking at all. That's not what we have to do. We can take it one step at a time and do whatever you're comfortable with because it's all you have the autonomy in this situation. Um, so, since we kind of agreed to start with, a smaller stepping stone just to kind of drink in more of moderation, what is something you could do to make drinking in moderation a more consistent thing?
Um, I think instead of me stopping at the grocery store and getting, or the gas station and getting what I usually get, um, I think if I ask my boyfriend to go, then he can just go get the beer and a shot. That
Hmm.
way I don't have the excuse of, well, I just happened to buy another one and, I was there, so I got an extra one. So
Hmm.
that way, he's going to hold me accountable by physically restricting what I can have.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Um, we won't meet for another 2 weeks, I saw on the schedule. So maybe it's a little like homework assignment. Um,
Hmm.
the next time you go to the store, you can just ask your boyfriend to go for you and try
Hmm.
that out. And then we can talk about that next time to see if that's something that worked for you. Um, so to end this session, I just want to get a clear answer from you for my notes. Would you like to begin action to decrease your drinking?
Yes, I would.
Okay, I'm so glad to hear that, and I'm looking forward to working with you. Thank you so much for coming in.
Yes. Thank you for listening.